Hey everybody, welcome back to Joe and Tell. We are back with another date day. It's been a bit.
It has been a bit. I don't know why.
You have a booger in your right nostril.
Do I? Because I just
I'll
did
cut
some
this out.
wiping.
It's right there on the edge.
Did I get it?
Is it on? Okay.
No, it's a disappearing booger.
All right. It has been a while. We've been extremely busy, especially you. You've had various art shows.
April is a dumpster fire in the art world.
A lot of gallery showings and just different events and all that happening. But
yeah, flea markets, art shows.
hopefully it's winding down, and hopefully going to be a little bit more calm for us. Although summer's always busy for us too.
You know what? And when it winds down, it's very much my personality where it's like all or nothing.
Oh,
so
then you're
I
gonna
feel
pick
like
up something?
No, I was gonna say I feel like I've kind of turned everything off. Like once the last big show, because like the end of April is always like the big show for my job and what all of my work for months goes into. And then I feel like when that's over, I kind of just am like, boop, power off. And I feel a little like depressy. I don't know.
Well, it's a lot of activity and a lot of energy being spent.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's like kind of getting ready for a wedding. There's so much work, then it's over and you're like, now what?
I attribute it to that every year. My bride's here, so I'm probably gonna need to head out. It is because not only is the setup like hours and hours and hours, similar to a wedding, but then when you break down the wedding at night, when it's like midnight and everybody's like breaking down your stuff, it takes like literally like 15 minutes. You're throwing everything in buckets. When you have that mulch wedding. No,
Yeah, so what kind of wedding do you have?
When you throw everything into like the bins or whatever, then you're putting things back into. But it's just like a very quick breakdown, and then it's like over.
Yeah. So I can understand like the feeling of a lull or like.
Yeah, because you've done that like twice now.
Whatever. So
As have I.
But you do have another. Cheers. Look how much prettier your drink is compared to mine. Mine looks like I don't know what.
Why is yours not pretty? Because it's flatter looking?
Yeah, it looks flat and gross. I don't know why they keep talking, but
because they're waiting for me. But I have a video to do.
I see. But you do have one more big hurrah coming up, and that is you're going out of town this weekend.
I am.
Specifically, well, not specifically for Mother's Day, but
not at all for Mother's Day.
Yeah,
that just happened to fall in the same.
Just coincidence.
Thing, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, why are you going out of town?
I'm going out of town because my dear grandparents are celebrating a very important anniversary, which is hard to believe.
10 years.
10 whole years of being married.
They
found each other very late in life.
How would the math work out in that?
Well, when you're 90 and you found someone at 80, congratulations. That's like in home care findings. No,
I looked across the bingo table and there he was.
I was knitting a quilt and 70 years of marriage.
That's insane.
That is a beautiful, insane thing.
Yeah. A lot of people don't even live that long.
No,
and
they are celebrating 70 years of being married, which is incredible. I was telling someone that recently and they're like, did they get married when they were 10? But no, they got married and, right out of high school, right? They were high school sweethearts.
Yeah.
He was a football star. She was a cheerleader.
That's true.
So true.
That's legit. And then
it is the sweetest story.
And they've been together their whole lives.
Whole lives.
And they've lived in the same house.
They lived somewhere for a little bit. My mom so my mom's the oldest of 4, and she was saying that they moved into that house when my mom was like a child in elementary school. I think she said so. But I mean, get real. Like my mom
there for
is in her 70s.
Time. Oh. And yeah, if your grandparents are celebrating their 70th wedding anniversary and your mom's in her 70s, bum bum bum. Childhood memories ruined.
Or is my mom 70 yet? No.
I don't think so.
She was born in 1955. She'll be 70 next June. Okay, so she's not quite 70. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Phew!
Honeymoon. She's a honeymoon baby.
Yeah. She's a honey baby.
But the house that they moved into, and they've been in for like almost 70 years, is the same house that all the kids grew up in, and like your grandpa would continuously remodel and rearrange the whole place. And
yeah, Oh, yeah. It's fine. But our neighbors are outside. That's a good thing. Yeah, so I remember that house as multiple variations. So, I mean, in my upbringing, it has changed tremendously. So I can only imagine. But, they bought this house. I mean, I can't even imagine what the value has to be so different now from,
Yeah.
I mean they
bought
must have bought it for like $20,000.
Oh, I thought they bought it.
I mean, I don't know.
I would say they bought it for like a chicken, like trading a chicken for a house or something. No, they're not.
Coffetarians. No,
Yeah.
I don't know, but I know they did that, I mean, gosh, when would that have been that they bought their home? Would have been what, like 1950 something, right? So they couldn't have paid that much.
When
and
your
then
mom was born, if they'd been there.
No, but remember they didn't move
Before?
there until she was in elementary
Oh,
school.
that's right. Yeah.
But either way,
Long time.
yeah, so early 60s, whatever. But you would imagine the increase of value. Plus, I mean, clearly they put work into it continuously.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's like constantly being updated because they're tearing down walls,
The property
putting up walls.
alone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, but it's so sweet too to like buy a home. It's your forever home, and you make your home work for you. You're not working for your home, which is a great concept. You
Work
don't
hard
hear,
for the money.
and you better treat it right. You just don't see that very much anymore. I think people are very much about living beyond their means and finding something like
For sure.
this big, huge, like show house instead of
Like that. What was that commercial where the guy is driving? He's got all the new fancies, right? Riding mower and all this. He's got all the fancy stuff. The neighbors are jealous. In his head, he's like, "I'm in debt to my eyeballs."
But that's how that's the American way now. Credit. Yeah. However, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I'm excited that you get to go. I'll be back here with the kids, man in the fort. So you get a lovely, lovely trip.
There are multiple wonderful moments about this trip for me. So thank you for taking one for the team.
Oh, sure. I mean, more than anything, I don't mind staying home. It's going to be a little sad to miss.
Well, because it is Mother's Day weekend. But for me, like to be with some of my favorite women. So, to be with my Aunt Lisa and my cousin and my mom and my grandmother who, I have one left. And, so that's pretty cool. That doesn't ever really happen. I don't know that I've ever had that happen.
What? Being
with all of them on Mother's Day.
Yeah.
So we get to celebrate motherhood as like a,
your mom and your aunt and like my mom, we'd go to like the winery or something together, but you've never been. Yeah. So, all that to say that essentially leaves me here with the kids, sans mom on Mother's Day. So I was thinking, I could visit my mother-in-law. I'm like, what? Nope, she's going with you. Oh, maybe I'll go and visit my my mom. I'm like, well, no, my mom is going to see my niece graduate from medical school. She's a doctor now. And so my mom's going to go to that. So all of the mothers in my life are going to be out of town for Mother's Day. So like you said, I'm kind of off the hook.
It's a beautiful ticket off the hook. I get like sort of like anxiety about things. I get anxious about birthdays. I tend to want to please people, and so when birthdays come up, I feel like the expectation is high, and I worry about making sure someone feels loved and accepted and happy. And so that goes for me for every event, though. Like I always feel like Mother's Day is a struggle because I want to care for my mom, and my mom's really good about saying like, nah, you don't need to do anything. You're the mom. You should be celebrated. But internally, I'm torn.
To where I'm like, just like, here's your card. Happy day.
Care about people as much.
I don't know about that. I just don't go overboard.
But that's not your thought process.
I don't go overboard.
You don't get on board. You have the ship sails and you wave it off, and then you go smoke your pipe or cigar. You're like, see you suckers. I am not getting on that board. They're like, now boarding, and you're like, no, we're not.
You don't even get on.
Plan.
You don't even get on board. That's awesome. For you though, I do. Like you are my wife.
Try to
I
care
love
for
you,
me.
and I
do a very good job of caring.
I do my best. It's not always perfect or good, but I do my best. But it's where not draw the line, but where I just don't even, it doesn't even occur to me,
No.
is like outside of that realm. You know,
If I tell you exactly what I need, you provide.
You first, kids second, and well,
and then everyone else is dead to you.
Yes. No. God first, you second, kids third.
Then everyone's dead to you.
Oh. No, I just went on a retreat with my son, and they said you shouldn't put God first. I thought that was very interesting. They said you should put God in the center, and then everything else, including yourself,
which is kind of true,
revolves around that.
In the sense that, like,
that's a good point. Because if you put him first, then everything starts to jockey for first place. You start
jockey.
Shifting.
I've never heard that term before. Yeah. Did you just make that up?
I came up with it when I was laying in my
Derby
when I was laying in my bedroll.
To you. Is bedroll a term? Joe used that today, and I quite liked it the way you said it.
Bedroll.
In my bedroll, which also kind of made him sound a little bit like a retiree. It was cute, but I don't know that I've ever heard the term bedroll. But I don't know what that refers to. Like, one would call that a sleeping bag.
Perhaps.
Is it like a blanket and a pillow? Like
rolled up?
Like, if you don't have a sleeping bag, you have a bedroll.
I think of it as like the wrap that's rolled up and on the backpack of like a cowboy or a military person, where they have, wherever they're at, they have to be able to like camp.
Yeah, so it'd be like an ununiformed sleeping bag.
And they roll it out.
It would be whatever your cover, or like something you could lay on the ground.
Yeah. That's what I think of.
To make your sleep.
To make your sleep.
To make your sleep happen.
I make sleep now.
I'm gonna lay down my bedroll by this fire.
So all of this kind of discussion is to get to a specific topic, and that is your thoughts, because I know you have various thoughts, and some of them are very strong about different holidays and whatnot. So just curious, what are your thoughts around Mother's Day as a holiday? And like, what would you like it to be?
You know,
and
we have had this
actually
talk. What do I believe?
I might know, but they don't.
I think you, okay. Hello, mothers. I'm talking to you. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to go to brunch and wrestle my kids at a nice place while I'm trying to have a mimosa. I don't want to go somewhere else, like a winery with small people. I don't want the people that I have mothered to be near me. Basically, what every mother ideally wants is for you to leave the house, so like you can be in your own home with nobody else present. That is the best gift you can give a mom, because if you say to a mom, like, you go, you have, like, I don't necessarily want to be gone. Like, I'm constantly moving around. Yeah, like, I'm constantly moving. Now, if you stick a massage on it, I'll go there. I'll go there and get massage. Then I want to come home and I want everyone gone.
What's the movie with Tina Fey and Steve Carell where
all she wants to do is go to a hotel and drink a diet
She's Sprite. Like, I just want to sit in a hotel room by myself and drink a diet Sprite.
But how, honestly, and I have threatened this, threatened, but like more of suggested that I would go to a hotel by myself.
At knife point. Threatening out.
Because there's just times you just want to be able to watch an entire movie without hearing someone call your name or tell you that they're feeling ill when it's just that they don't want to go to bed, or someone asks you how many calories were in their dinner that you prepared, or just all the things. Yeah, life. Yeah, I mean, like, you just want to be off duty. I want to be in my house. I want to be like able to go in my art studio and like play around. I want to watch a girl movie. I want to have all my food things that I like. I want to have all the amenities that I am comfortable with in my space, with everyone that might interrupt that out of the picture. And I love you and our children greatly.
I know you do.
But I really think, and I think you're agreeing with me, if I had to take a poll, Mother's Day is a great thing. If I go back, though, the pressure of having to like accommodate something on a Hallmark holiday, because that's really what it is. Mm-hmm. You know, now I'll tell you what. Here we go. I'm gonna hop up on the soapbox because
Go for it.
It's very taxing also to work in a school because not only do you have the things that have been around for a long time, like Mother's Day, Father's Day, birthdays, but
I'm not
now
familiar
there's
with that holiday.
I'll tell you about it later.
Okay.
But
what
now
day is that on?
I think it's on a Monday.
October.
It's in the
October 35th.
But when you work at a school, there's administrative assistant day, secretary day, assistant principal day, special needs workers day,
a day for everything. Yeah.
a day for everything. And I can't remember. And some of the people that I love and work with that I adore, that comes up, and it just happens to be also in the worst month of history, which as an educator for me and is April.
Yeah.
So there's so many times I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Dad of 20 years of teaching said the same thing.
Yeah, he's like April sucks. And it's just hard. It's because you're embarking on like the end of like sort of toward the end of school. So everybody's like starting to lose their minds because they're thinking summer. Teachers and students both. And then you're like, you've got a lot of you got a bunch of big stuff that usually, because they always save it for the end because you need time to practice or time to prepare.
So, what does that say? Like our home life, what is our home life must be like? Because I have a teacher for a wife and 2 students for kids. And if they're all losing their minds, look out, Joe.
Yeah, you're just in the basement
the
for an entire month.
I'll be out front.
In the man zone.
I'll be smoking my pipe up out front. I'll be back in June.
You're really good at finding quality hiding spots. The entire basement is tools, pipes, cigars, computers, and toys.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty much
you never have to come up. There's a toilet and a shower too. Like there's really no need except for food, but I think you'd eat a cigar before you have to come upstairs to the crazy sometimes. And a fridge.
Yeah,
you could honestly
the only
never
I
come
couldn't.
back.
I just
thank you for coming up. Because really, if I were you, I may not.
It's a blessing that like.
I mean, we're lucky we see you.
The only reason I do is I don't have a microwave.
Your other great spot is the front porch.
It is. That's a good spot.
We always know we're going to find you in the bathroom in the basement, at your computer, or on the front porch.
That's fair. That's fair.
I've tried the manly take your phone to the toilet now, and the kids are always like, oh, you have to go to the bathroom? Leave your phone.
Or
like, how many years have men been taking their phones?
Or if you try to get away with it and take your phone, you've got our daughter's friends texting you because she doesn't have a phone.
And you don't want to give them your number.
Right.
Like,
because I'm smart. And you're like having to deal with all that stuff too.
Now I just give them codes. I'm like, at school, playing ball, leave me alone. Your parents don't love you. I'm just gonna start sending very
specific
frank
codes.
Messages.
Very specific codes.
You weren't meant to be here. No.
Leave me alone.
You were an accident.
Dang.
That's not a true story.
That's harsh.
You're not an accident.
I know.
Were you?
I don't think so.
We'll find
out. I was a surprise.
That's what they call accidents.
One thing about Mother's Day that I think is kind of that I will say adds to like not a failure of a holiday, but like if you think about it, like you were rattling off various holidays and stuff and birthdays and things, and that is typically the parties for the kids and all that. I would say the majority of the time is planned and prepped and taken care of by the mom and not the dad. And so they want to make sure it's a very special thing for and like the dad's like, do they have a cake?
Who wants to make sure?
You do.
Oh,
the moms. The moms. The dads are like, if they have a cake, we're great. So I think that is another like kind of notch against Mother's Day in that it requires
men to think.
Us men to step up. So this is my encouragement to you guys that, step up this Mother's Day. I'm off the hook because all my moms are out of town. but
now's the time to step. If it were any other year.
Yeah. But for you guys,
Now you should step it up.
You guys need to step it up. And
You're thoughtful on Valentine's Day. You kind of got that nailed.
Yeah. Treat your moms.
All right, so knowing what I've said,
yeah.
Let's hypothetically, if I were in town, how would you approach this Mother's Day? Let's say I'm not going out of town.
We'd fly to Italy for pizza.
Not a fake scenario.
Oh.
This is not a dream situation. I'm saying, knowing what I've said now.
We drive to Burger King. I would, kind of what I was going to do anyway, because you're out of town, I would say I will take the kids to church. You can stay at home, watch the service from home if you want, or come with us if you want. And then I will take the kids to like a toy store or some store that they can hang out for a couple of hours, and we can just chill, and we'll get lunch out, and then you can be here. Yeah, I'd do that.
All right.
But I don't have to, because you're out of town.
I like that though. Yeah. So now at our church, they're encouraging people to park farther away, to leave space for newcomers, and it's a great thought process. And so as a result, they have a golf cart that they allow you to get on, like you're parked far away, and then they just cart you up to the front, whatever. But like we appreciate the steps, and we often don't take that option. However, today our daughter was not feeling great, and so we said, like, yeah, you get on there. And then it occurred to us, we could just have her continue to drive around the parking lot with both of our children in the cart, and then it's a date opportunity.
Yeah.
We tried to convince her to maybe take like a 30-minute drive on the golf cart, like maybe down the highway.
Well, I was trying to convince her to go for like a week.
Yeah.
Just drive the golf cart down the highway.
I mean, I was like, it could be an adventure for all of you.
Yes.
She was a sweet older woman, and so I thought maybe that would be beneficial.
Speaking
we
of,
did, however, get to walk to the car. You and I.
That's true.
Hand in hand.
That's a thing. Marriage, kids, a date opportunity becomes walking to church from your car with no kids. That is insane.
We're
folks.
less than 20 years married. Can you imagine 70 years?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, their kids.
Although, how many years, I wonder, have they been?
Their kids are
at
all
their house.
Yeah, their kids are all. Yeah.
But you know the irony? Now you need kids to return back to your home because you need care.
And otherwise, your grandpa complains, or he knows when his wife has been on his computer because everything's moved around. Those are the kind of things you pay attention to when you've been together for so long. But speaking along, this video is getting there.
Speaking along.
So let's wrap it up.
Speaking of long.
Yes.
I thought you said speaking along. Like, we're speaking along.
No,
here we go.
Speaking of long, like long time, this video is getting there. So we'll wrap it up. And we'll call it a date. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one.
Speaking of long, we got stuff to do.
Well, on that note, folks, we'll catch you later.
Get out of here.
See ya.
See ya.